Hi, welcome to Live on KEXP at Home. I'm your host, DJ Morgan, from listener-powered independent 90.3 FM KEXP in Seattle. We stream online all over the world at kexp.org and on our mobile apps, and we are so happy to continue to connect you with live music as we remain socially distant and working from home, and all of this is made possible with your support. So thank you so much for supporting KEXP. And I am so happy to be joined by one of my favorite bands today, Future Islands. Hi, Sam. Hi, William. Hi, Mike.
Thanks for having us.
And Garrett. Hi, Garrett. Yay, you're all here.
I just got so excited.
Look, here I am. Thank you all so much for spending this time with us today. Really appreciate it. Sam, where are you at right now?
I'm in Stockholm, Sweden.
And William, where are you?
I am in the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Nice. And Garrett, where are you?
I am in the basement of my home in Baltimore.
Perfect. And Mike, where are you?
Baltimore as well.
Awesome. All different places. Congrats on the new record, As Long As You Are. It is so good. I'm so thrilled that you just put out a new record, one of my favorite bands. So it's nice to hear new music from you. How have you all been doing first, before we talk about the new record? How have things been going for you, especially during this pandemic right now? Sam, how are things with you?
Things are okay. I mean, it was really exciting to release the record. It didn't really hit me that we wouldn't be touring until maybe a week and a half after the record came out. And I was like, is that the end of the album cycle?
Yeah.
We do one live stream and then we start thinking about the next record. But, you know, that's been a little heavy and just coming to terms. But yeah, every time you put out a record, it's, you know, you're like releasing your baby into the world and letting it go off on its own way, and you have to like kind of figure out where you are again, and so that's all a part of the process. But overall, like considering where we are in the world right now, I'm feeling good.
William, how has your year been so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Just trying to keep a positive attitude throughout everything, and we're trying to, like Sam said, trying to start writing on the next record. When we can. I got my old bass that I played on. I brought this bass with me. It's the bass from Wave Like Home and Evening Air. So I'm trying to tap into some of that old energy
Cool.
lately. That's what I've been trying to focus on with these ideas and sketches I've been sending.
Awesome. Garrett, how has it been for you?
It's been all right. Sort of, you know, one day at a time. It's kind of strange because I had a child like a little over a year and a half ago. And so we were kind of already in lockdown for a while. And then we were pretty stoked for like, she was getting older and we got a babysitter and we're like, we're going to finally go see people again. And I was like, nope.
Oh, but at least you get to enjoy the formative years of your new child, right?
Yeah, that's actually been really, really positive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a bright side for sure. Mike, how have you been?
I've been pretty good. Just trying to sort of practice gratitude whenever I can, try to stay positive. Year's been pretty productive. Kind of echoing like what Sam said, like it is kind of a bummer to sort of like do like a week of press for this album. You know, we worked like really hard on it and then just have it be like, all right, well, that's done. You know,
Yeah.
Like there's our album cycle. I really miss playing live shows. I feel like I still am not quite in full acceptance that live shows aren't happening. You know, like I keep being like, well, maybe like next fall, you know, and like now it just, who knows? But yeah, just, you know, trying to take one day at a time, try to stay as positive as I can. And this week I've been feeling a little, the pandemic's been fraying my edges a little bit. So I'm trying to just like be vigilant and like stay a little more active, you know, try to get off Twitter, stop reading Twitter.
Not doom scrolling is very important for your mental health right now. Yeah. This month especially is the fatigue of the pandemic is definitely setting in very, very hard for a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
So as you said, the album cycle of the new release has been very quick, but it's been seemingly a long process to record this album. And just listening to even the very first track, I can feel an energy shift on this new record from the last one, The Far Field, that came out 3 years ago. Can you talk about the process of making this new record and what was going on for you all during this time? Sam, do you want to start?
Yeah, well, I think when we made The Far Field, our last album, it was coming off of our most successful record in a lot of ways, Singles, which came out in 2014. And when that album dropped, we had this now infamous Letterman performance that really brought us to a much bigger part of the world, a much bigger audience. We got offers for shows, places that had turned us down for years, festivals that had never given us a chance were now all of a sudden asking us to play, in moments when we didn't have a break. So we played like 300 shows in 22 months, pretty much nonstop. And getting off the road for that record was like, we could have continued touring that record, but it was important for us to take time to reflect and write. But we kind of quickly made that record to kind of keep up with the momentum of Singles, the previous album. And because of that, I just don't think we were completely in control or understanding of what had really happened to our lives, how this band that we had, had been our baby, that we worked so hard to bring to the world, had just kind of gotten out of our hands. Everything got so much bigger that the band that we worked so hard to cultivate and bring to people all of a sudden kind of became like this business. And when your band gets bigger, you have more people in your team, which isn't bad. You need more people to help you with all of these things, but you kind of start to give away responsibilities to other people to help you do these things. And in making The Far Field, I think we weren't completely settled into understanding how much our lives had changed. And so we try to kind of act like, oh, we'll just go and write an album like we always do, just three guys writing a record, nothing's different. But really, like, our whole lives had changed. And I don't think we reflected on that. So even as like The Far Field came out, we were like, I don't think we really know what happened. I don't think we addressed this on this record. And so in a way, like, we were already talking about what As Long As You Are would become, even as early as mid 2017. Wow. And then by 2018, I think the first song that we wrote for this record was, or at least the first song that I wrote lyrics for was City's Face, which was a very dynamic shift from anything that was on The Far Field, far away from anything that was not completely far away from, say, like A Fall from Grace off of Singles, but really was it was a different thing. And I think creating that kind of song was understanding that was a song that we would have put on the chopping block and it would have been left behind, in the last 4 or 5 years. We would have said, well, that's never going to be an album or like a live song, like a song that's going to rock at a show. So we're not going to put it on a record. And I particularly was like, I think writing that song was like, hey guys, this song really hits me. Like, these words really mean something to me. And I want to try to push this forward. So we're trying to like take back some of these old ideas of our art and putting forth songs that weren't just about playing a show, which had been kind of the main vehicle of this band. We are a live band, but some of the songs that are most important in our early records were these like beautiful slow songs, things that maybe don't come off the same live, but they have to be, they have to be in your ears, like as you're walking home at night or taking the train to work, or, like the things that become a part of our lives. A live show is one thing, but albums become something different. So we're really trying to get back to, to not being afraid to take a chance with a song that wouldn't exist. Sorry, this is a really long answer, but that's kind of, it's very deep, because us, like, some of the songs on this record are very much ones that we might have cast aside before, but instead this time we were really working to bring them fully through the process of recording. And yeah, that was important.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different ways for an audience to experience music, right? Like, obviously the live aspect is very important, but having those headphone moments where you're by yourself, having those sorts of songs are very important too. Garrett, can you talk a little bit more about the nitty-gritty, the recording process of this album? Were there any differences in how you recorded this or produced it than older albums?
Well, for one, we had Mike in the studio with us writing. Quite a few of the ideas that sort of became songs on this record started during sort of jam sessions after sound checks during the Farfield tour. So we would, finish sound check and have some time and then sort of see if we could come up with anything. So that was kind of a new process we hadn't really explored in the past. But yeah, going into the studio, we had a handful of songs and then sort of brought things from the past. Like there were some jams from around like 2015 that were brought in, and then some newer stuff where we jammed in the studio. William and Mike had some ideas. William brought in some ideas. So yeah, just sort of like a nice mixed bag of everyone's kind of creative input coming together in like Power Ranger style.
That's awesome. What color Power Ranger are you?
Is there an orange one?
there can be, if that's the color you want to be.
You pick like the one color there wasn't one of.
Nice.
That's actually true. That's really funny.
Cool.
But you can be the Orange Ranger.
Thank you.
Mike, so was this the first album you were actively in the studio recording with Future Islands?
No, I recorded the Farfield, and was there through that whole process. But it's the first time that I was like writing with the guys, and then sort of going through each phase of the song with them, like from the inception to the to however it ended up on the record.
Cool. And William, how long did it take from actually writing all of these songs and deciding these are the ones you want to actually finishing producing them and putting the album together?
As we started collecting songs, like when we first went in the studio, it was January of last year. And I don't know, we maybe had 6 or 7 songs at that point, maybe more. But we kept kind of adding to the pile as we went on, and we made more songs than ended up being on the album. Then we had a day, the process in the studio was really different for this album as well. Like we would all go in and work for like a week or two, and then we would take like a month break and just kind of live our lives, let life happen, spend time with the recordings, kind of think about it, but I'm not like studying the recordings like crazy, just kind of listening to them, and see if anybody had any ideas, it might help us see the strengths of a song or like what's not working that well, like what can we make better. And I think we realized that was a really important part of the process for us, is spending that time with the recordings that we've made. Like usually we spend a lot of time with the demos, and then it just sounds way different from the final product. But Steve, the engineer that we worked with, that we co-produced this record with, he was really good about giving us a mix that was pretty good. You could hear all the different parts, all the different ideas really fast, Mm-hmm. So we had like pretty good working like reference mixes all the way through. And then towards the end of the year, I'm not sure when, maybe it was like around October of last year, we sat down with Steve and listened to all the songs and just kind of, we're like, okay, this song should be on the album, this one shouldn't. And for the most part, it was a unanimous decision for either one. And if somebody disagreed, we would kind of talk it out. I don't know. It was very, I think it was a very relaxed process, and the communication was very clear. There was no like, there have been in the past, there's been like tension, and the tension was just wasn't there. We've been working on our communication with each other, and and that goes for like, I think a lot of the process with like the mixing of the album, like deciding on the album art, all that stuff was, sometimes those things can be like pulling teeth, and it wasn't like that with this.
That's awesome.
I think we're just getting better at doing this thing.
Well, I think
cool.
I'm realizing, especially doing press for this record, how much making the Far Field, we weren't really talking. Like, we were so close for so long, just like touring singles, and then we just like went right back to making a record, and then we just recorded a record, and we never really talked about it till the record was done and out. And I think a big part of creating this album was not, it was actually more about us communicating again and becoming like trusting each other again. To like, you know, I've really been thinking about this a lot. Like, I think with our relationships, you know, especially romantic relationships, you know, you're reminded that you have to kind of re-up these relationships and remind the person that you love them and feel that back and constantly to do this. But with friendships, and that goes with like band relationships, sometimes we forget, like, we're just like, oh, we're just friends and you think what I think and you're going through what I'm going through, or you know exactly what I'm going through. But sometimes we forget to talk and to really feel like understand what we're all going through individually and what we go through in our lives. So for me in particular, like, I was really scared going into the process. Like, we were on the road for the Far Field, and I was worried about if we would make a record again and not knowing if we would be able to be those kinds of like close friends again, feeling like the business of music was taking over the artistry. So I think really making this record was kind of recapturing that like trying to restoke like what our friendship is about and how that's really important. And then from that, finding artistry, because it's about finding that honesty and that trust and truth again. So I mean, I kind of went in like 2018, I was feeling kind of dark about where we were, you know, because these are like my best friends, and we're not like communicating the same. And in finishing the record, I felt like we had like a new beginning, and like all we learned through making this album in the studio, and things getting easier, like William said, like the mixing process, like picking album art, like picking song titles, like track listing, like everything just went so smooth. And it was like, wow, this is amazing. Because I think all along the road, we talked about the decisions. So it wasn't like you get to an indecision and then someone's like, well, I was mad 4 decisions ago and nobody listened to me. It was like, we talked through these things, and we were like really worried about what everybody thought. And it's like the first record we made that everyone was happy with the way it turned out, instead of just nagging feelings of what we didn't say or what we missed. I'm happy is what I'm trying to say. Like,
that's awesome. That's so nice to hear. And it's cool to hear that too, and listen to the record and really feel your guys' friendship and in that record. And so we've talked about a lot about it. I'd love to get to the first song. You guys recorded an amazing live performance set for us that I'm very excited for our viewers to see. So let's get into the first song, For Sure. Sam, can you tell us about this song before we get into it? What's this song about?
This song is, well, so I wrote this in the Swedish countryside, in the south of Sweden, in, I think, the summer of 2018. I think it was the early one. And then, it was kind of about this water hole that will walk like a half mile up this little mountain. It's an old granite quarry that was left behind 30, 40 years ago. And there's just this beautiful still pool of reflective water, and you go swimming 2 or 3 times a day. And so it's kind of about being in that place, the love of that place, and it's about trust, you know, and having a person that you love and trust who gives you the courage to jump from great heights into that water.
Beautiful. This is For Sure from Future Islands live on KEXP at Home.
Perish the pain, I was impoverished those ties of wine, stared into open land, stared into long, long nights, howling still, west of the eastern cold, carving the wind, dawn of your eye, dust You make me trust I will never keep you from an open door. I know, you know, that's how much I feel in everything you are. You know, I know, I will never keep you from an open door. You know, I know, I will never keep you from just who you are. 'Cause I know, I know.
Nice. Future Islands live on KEXP at Home. That was the song For Sure from the new album, As Long As You Are, that just came out last month on 4AD. Sam, you've been living in Sweden for a while now with your partner, and you mentioned that last song is very influenced by Sweden. Has living there influenced a lot of the other lyrics on the album?
Yeah, well, Glada, which opens the album, is pretty purely about Sweden and the countryside, and my first spring in Sweden, but also, you know, I think not only geographically the influences, especially just enjoying the nature and almost sometimes the solitude of a place where you don't know the language, you can kind of get lost, which is something that we've learned from touring for years. But also just my relationship has allowed me a certain new freedom to explore my past and explore my present in a particular way that I haven't been able to for many years. So yeah, I think what Sweden means is a new healthy place in my life, and a new place of calm and acceptance through the relationship I'm in, and that's allowed me to dig deep into things of my past in a kind of fresh light.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, thank you.
William, you mentioned that you all agreed pretty easily on things, including the album art. I'd love to hear about the album art. It's so cool. I love the house kind of floating in the middle of the water. Can you talk about who did that and why you all chose that one?
Yeah, we worked with this artist named Vlad Sepetov. We had never worked with him before. He was we looked at a couple of different artists. This is our first time working with people that we didn't know beforehand for album art. All of our other albums have been made by good friends of the band, and I don't know. There was no reason. There was no conscious decision to not work with friends on this record. But our management, they brought forth some ideas, and we liked Vlad's work. So, we decided to take a chance and see what it was like. Working with somebody that was outside of our world. And then he was working with. He wanted to work with Sam Mason, who Sam Mason actually made the music video for Sure. That's entirely computer generated.
Is it? I was curious about that.
Yeah, the whole thing is totally fake.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, how did they get a self-driving car? That's amazing.
Yeah.
People are like, these guys they must have spent $1 million on this video.
You guys are rich.
We are not rich. That's fake.
Vlad had an idea about working with a house, and maybe the house was going to be like you were going to be inside the house looking out, could be the cover, and the idea of place, like they were trying to construct a landscape that we talked about, creating a landscape that was somehow like North Carolina and somehow Maryland, but also somehow neither, so it's kind of based on different source material, and he mocked up a bunch of different options. And am I missing anything? It's like, Sam,
I feel like you are, but
tell me what I'm missing. I'm probably thinking of it wrong.
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think because we had all kind of started with Vlad with those mood boards we made. Which,
oh yeah, I forgot about the mood board.
which I'd never
Don't
made a
forget the
mood
mood
board
boards.
before, and I
I
felt a
haven't either.
little. Yeah, I was like, I feel kind of gross right now, but then maybe this is cool. It was like find
I
images.
need you to
like,
tell me more about that. Why did it make you feel gross? And
Yeah,
how
I'd,
did you
like,
feel
go
at the
in-
end of it?
Go into my computer screenshots over the last 5 or 6 years and be like, oh, I did save images. But yeah, we all just kind of like, we put a bunch of images together, probably like 12, I think like 10 or 12 each. But there was, I think before, maybe Vlad had already brought forward the idea of the house, because he did bring like this shifting house idea, and we were talking about that. But I think a couple of us had images of kind of houses abandoned on water, whether like beach homes where the sea was raised over, or houses off. And so we were kind of like, we all kind of got into the idea of this isolated home. So, and I think then Vlad and Sam were kind of elaborating on that. But originally the house was like, it looked terrible. It was like a beautiful landscape, and the house was like supposed to be dilapidated, like floodborne. And we were like, yeah, but what if it is like a beautiful place that you could live in, not a place that's abandoned? So I think we play with that. Am I crazy, William?
No, the mood board definitely came first. I totally forgot the mood board. It's like in Weird Science where they try to recreate the experiment at the end and they forget the doll, and they end up making a rocket that goes through the house. And the dude's like, this puppy's real, all right. Like, how does a high school student know what a real rocket feels like? But anyway, I forgot the mood board. So without the mood board, there'd be no art, I guess.
There'd be no art.
Let's start with the mood board.
Garrett and Mike, how did you feel about the mood board? Were you moved at all by it?
I was pro mood board, I guess.
It worked for you?
It was kind of a new thing for me. But I'm game. I'm supportive. I'm game.
That's good. Garrett, where did the title "As Long as You Are" come from?
The title "As Long as You Are" comes from a failed song of ours. The title of it was "As Long as You Are," and it didn't work out for this record, so we decided to use the title of the song.
No longer failed, resurrected.
Yeah, but it could come to life at some point.
I mean, maybe I'll play it right now off my iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh, was that? Oh shit! Was that? Excuse my language. Was that a shameless plug?
You're not on the radio.
Don't buzz market your iPhone. Do not.
Are you actually going to play that song?
Broadcasting 101. Don't buzz market ubiquitous products. It's a failed game.
Play the first. I don't know, 20 seconds or something.
Are you? Yes.
I don't have my phone on me. Here, you guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Garrett, I was going to ask you. So you all have basically been touring for 12 years nonstop, and we talked a little bit about this year slowing down the pace and things like that. But have you found any new discoveries from taking this time to chill out and not be on the road so much?
Well, like I said previously, we're just becoming to learn how to be a parent. So that's kind of been my, aside from this record, been my wife and I's main focus. So
that's good.
It's kind of like all encompassing for the most part.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And Mike, you've been touring with Future Islands for over 3 years?
Yeah, like 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
How has the break been for you?
I'm not gonna lie. I really miss being out on the road, but performing has been a big part of my life since I was like 15. I really miss it, but I'm trying to. I've been trying to sort of embrace the opportunity to try to, learn some new things. Start like focusing on writing a little more. Things like that. Try not to just like sit and be angry that we're not touring, just trying to stay productive. But I mean, it's not easy. I really, really miss it, So
I hear you. William, How about you? I know you put out an ambient album, right? Earlier in this year?
I did, yeah. It was actually I wrote most of that record here at this beach house that I'm at right now in the Outer Banks.
Cool.
So but yeah, I mixed it and recorded overdubs and everything with Steve Wright in Right Way Studios. So it was kind of made alongside like during the breaks from As Long As You Are, I would book studio time with Steve and kind of go in there and work on that album. So
Were you working on that like during 2019, or has that just been a 2020 project?
Yep, it was all 2019. So I was just I was finalizing the mix. Like right before we started mixing this album. So I guess I mixed it in like January, February of this year.
That's rad.
I think.
Congrats.
But
2 records in 1 year.
Thanks. But yeah, I think about touring. I feel like we tend to overdo things. So like we're like when we go on tour, we just book, like we just say yes to everything. We're like yes, we say out there we only want to be on tour because we have these long periods of not touring. And we tour so much that we're like, next time we're not going to tour this much. We always say that. We're like, next time we got to tour more smart. We can't say yes to everything. And in a way, like, you know, the universe has given us that break. But also, like, I think it's going to probably swing back the other way. And when the pandemic is finally over, we're probably just going to just book like 2 years solid. And just
Make up
stay
for
out.
lost time.
Yeah, we're gonna be out there. Like we're like the propulsion is building up right now just to blast us off on the road. So
That's awesome.
But yeah, I think it is, we always complain about not being able to write on the road, and that's something that we tried to fix with As Long As You Are by writing at the end. Garrett was saying like during sound checks. And so we're trying to take advantage of this time and really like start working on new ideas, and who knows, but this might not happen, but there's a chance there could be a new record out by the time we're touring again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or next month, who knows?
Next month.
Yeah, exactly. Did you find the song, Sam?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound as dope as I remember.
Play it.
Just play it. Play it.
I'll definitely play the intro. The intro is hot. Oh, come on, man. Why is my internet got to be dumb on my phone? Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
That's good.
But the song's the part somebody.
Some fools just rush out, some just roll. Wasn't honest when I was 17. I wasn't happy when I was 23. I'm sentimental, but it's not how you think. I broke a few hearts, more than a few bars.
All right.
Awesome. So that's it.
This is the chorus.
Okay, that's what you get.
That's awesome. So that's the song As Long As You Are.
That was the song As Long As, which was, I think was written, Garrett, when did you write that demo? 2014 or 15? It was an older 2015. But you didn't even say, like, Garrett didn't say the beautiful version of where that title came from originally, because this was all a Garrett demo from back in the day.
Tell me.
Garrett.
Well, I guess like at the time I was, I was getting ready to be in this new serious relationship, getting married. And the idea was just sort of, coming to sort of like this idea of like, as long as you are is sort of the reason that this is the way that I feel. And why not name a song after it? That feeling.
Oh, that's nice.
I love you, Garrett.
Oh, you guys.
And I am the lucky one.
Oh, that's amazing. Let's get into another song. We're only on song 2. Yeah.
We tried to record that. We worked on As Long As You Are for the Far Field. didn't we? I think it was in the running.
It was in the session because I remember I was working on it when we were in studio. When we were in LA recording, I was furiously trying to write a song because I was like, it's a really great song and I need to write lyrics, and I couldn't figure it out.
Right. So we brought it back in because we brought it back for this album to hopefully put it out. But anyway,
we just crushed Garrett's dreams again.
No one has heard that song until KEXP, so it's an exclusive.
Yes,
exclusive.
Can I make a suggestion? Maybe you can put it out as a bonus track if you have an anniversary of this album.
Oh yeah, one day
coming down the road,
where there's going to be so many anniversaries of this album. It's like this is
every year it's going to have one.
This is the 18-week anniversary. Would you please buy her album?
Remember this one? It's good. I'm DJ Morgan. I'm talking to Future Islands. Let's get into another song. This song is called The Painter, and then we can talk about it afterwards. It's Future Islands live on KEXP at Home.
Fear of black and yellow is pushing in the blues. Here I made of willow, traces of you. Crushing a piano, the pieces in the yard. I can see the faces tracing your heart. Fear has made you shallow, hiding in your tomb. I'm screaming at dust. Is this goodbye you? Whoa, calling out in space. Calling out for home. I once called you friend, greatest fool I know, in around the city, out in the country, been around the world now, out in the water. Waving, not drowning. What's lost in the pain? Somebody you'll know. Somebody you'll know. Somebody, somebody. Seeing yellow, light up for you. Well, I'm screaming at dust. Is this goodbye you? Whoa, calling out in space.
Some can see it all. Some can see it all.
Future Islands live on KEXP at Home. That was the song The Painter from the new album As Long As You Are. Sam, what's that song about?
Well, that song deals with a lot of probably anger and ideas of, I mean, I guess the broad image in that song is the ideas of race in America spoken through the ideas of color very blatantly. The idea of the painter who paints in colors. They paint what they want to see or what they see. But I think another broader idea in that song is just how we, when you're dealing with art, it becomes a subjective thing. I think in creating art, it's we're creating what we want, and seeing art, we see what we want to see. And with art, you can have one image that everyone sees in a different way. But when we talk about people's lives and bodies, it should never be a subjective thing. Like that should never be something. Like it's really wild to look at the political and social picture of America in particular, and see how how people see the same thing so differently, and how we fight over the loss of people's lives, and try to spin circles to justify the loss of life and death at the hands of police, the targeting of Black Americans, oppression, just like, and yeah, there's a lot in that song, but it's supposed to really blatantly be the painter painting in color, and what do they see? And yeah, it makes me mad.
Yeah. I completely understand that sentiment for sure. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So we had been talking about album anniversaries before that last song. Your 2010 record, An Evening Air, is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. It's one of my favorite records, and in my opinion, your breakout record. Do you guys have any fun memories from that time? Like, what are your favorite memories from that time? And what is like the biggest difference between that record and this record? Sam, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, that An Evening Air was really such a huge record for us on such a small level. I mean, I think for us at the time, like looking back at what it did for us, well, no, I mean, even looking back, what it did for us was huge, in the same way that I think a lot of people saw the star that we had from when singles came out was such a big thing for us, but it was kind of the same with An Evening Air, but then there was 100 people listening, and then all of a sudden there were 10,000 people listening, as opposed to 10,000 people listening and then 1 million people listening. But yeah, I don't know that. I think probably my favorite memory is just that we did a big U.S. tour, and I just remember, it was William booked the whole thing. We were on tour with this group Lower Dens, and it was like a sold out tour in DIY venues across America. You know what I mean? And that's like, maybe seems small. It sounds small, but it was like such a huge accomplishment for us. Like, we had been touring around the United States for 2.5 years at that point, and just been working really hard and trying to cover as much ground as possible, and to be able to see that return on our first U.S. record release, like with Thrill Jockey. Thrill Jockey kind of saved us out of just being completely unknown, and to be able to tour that record and have this, like, playing to 200 people a night around the country, and I don't know, it was so joyous to see it kind of coming true in a way, because it's like a lot of people think it's those big moments that kind of are the things that make you keep going or make your band be able to survive and keep doing this thing. But it's really like just these small little things, these small little moments that give you hope and allow you to kind of push forward and push on, to find those bigger moments, So those things are really important. But That tour, I mean, I don't know. There's so many memories, like sleeping with your head in a door and your body on a front step, like in the summertime and things like that. There's so many wild memories, and there's probably a lot of stuff that I don't remember.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, we were definitely fueled by Camel cigarettes and alcohol at that time. PBR and Camel was more buzz marketing. It doesn't need to be done. Doesn't need to be done.
That's funny. William, what about you?
You asked about like how it like what are the differences between that record and As Long as You Are, and I was thinking about this recently, and I think it maybe is, as far as the process goes, it's maybe the most similar in the way we recorded it, because in Evening Air we started recording it like right around Wartscape of 2009, I guess. Yeah, Wartscape was this big DIY festival that our friends Dan Deacon and the Wham City crew threw every summer. And so we started recording it like right before or right after that, and we had like a handful of songs, but then we went off and toured. Like we toured like I think we went to Europe, I think, in that time, and we were playing a lot of the songs that were on in Evening Air, and then when we came back, by then we'd written more songs and recorded them with Chester, but it was like, we recorded that in our house in Baltimore. I guess also As Long as You Are is also those are our two Baltimore albums, like albums that we recorded in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. But in Evening Air was made in our house in Chester's bedroom. Just like with whatever we had, laying around. But yeah, that tour, Thrill Jockey really, like Sam said, it really threw us a lifeline, really helped us out. And we thought, we'd get signed to Thrill Jockey and then we'd get a booking agent and everything would the doors would open up. And we talked to a bunch of different, not a bunch, but a couple of booking agents, and they all turned us down. So, instead, we just kept booking ourselves like we had for a long time, and I was doing like all the booking back then, and so that was, I think, the longest tour we ever did, the most successful tour up to that point that we had done was the North American In Evening Air tour. I booked the whole thing, and like Sam said, it was like largely sold out at these like art spaces, warehouses. There were some real venues in there, but it was
I forgot it wasn't all sold out. I just remember playing to like 2 people and 100 balloons and somewhere in Tennessee.
In Nashville, yeah.
And we blew up the balloons. They didn't. We blew them up. They were just like, well, just turn off the lights and sing to the balloons.
It'll be a party.
Okay. It'll be fun.
We thought people would come still. We didn't know.
Yeah. Garrett, do you have any memories to share?
I guess I remember that time being pretty fun because of just being pretty inspired about making music. It was kind of like a growing time for me personally, and sort of honing my craft and learning what it is that I'm doing in this band, and working with sounds and drum machines and software. It's sort of like a transitional period with this band too, of going from like a band with a drummer into a 3-piece with no drummer. So yeah, I just remember being excited. And I also remember losing the thumb drive that had a lot of the files on it.
Oh no.
So somewhere, maybe someone has this thumb drive that has the first files for Virio's Eye and Inch of Dust on them.
Where did you lose it?
No idea. Somewhere between Chester's house and my house, which is
in
not
Baltimore.
far. Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you found a thumb drive in Baltimore in 2010 or 2011, check it.
There's probably some rat with a supercomputer in a sewer making rave tunes. Something brilliant happened with that thumb drive.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Something great. Yeah.
Cool. Mike, do you have any thoughts about An Evening Air? Obviously, you play all of those songs live.
I love that record.
Yeah.
It was my first introduction. There was a bar. I worked at a restaurant, and there was a bar across the street that was like the local, Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing it at that bar like a lot and being like, oh, like, because I sort of knew of the dudes like from when they moved to town. But I hadn't really. I was playing in another band at the time that was sort of based in the UK, and so I was like sort of not around. And I was like, yeah, my life was very different. So I was sort of aware of Future Islands, but in the evening era is where I really like became a fan of the band. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I actually have. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
And I feel like I'd started like running into the guys like around town, but I wasn't like, I don't know. It was sort of what led me to the group for sure.
And they had an evening air in the jukebox, right, at the bar across the street.
Yeah. And they played Walking like all the time. Like I heard Walking probably like 10 times a night, and I spent a lot of time in that bar.
Well, so
that was right before. That was the year before I stopped drinking, 2010. So it was just a nice race to the bottom, you know. So like I just like got
Future Islands, Mike's soundtrack to the bottom.
yeah. So I spent a lot of time listening to that and like Long Flight, like Inch of Dust, you know.
No, but so like the first time I knew of Mike, or I would see him at the end of the bar most nights, and I used to work at this bar for a short time, the Club Charles in Baltimore. Around that time, like 2010, right before An Evening Air came out, because I had torn my ACL and I couldn't work my regular construction job because I was in recovery. So the woman who owned the bar actually saved my ass and let me be a door person. She was like, "You don't have to go up and down the stairs, Sam," because I was doing construction work for her on the side as well. But anyways, Mike comes up to me one night. I don't think I was working that night, but Mike, you were a little drunk. And we're basically
surprise.
We're just like, "Hey man, I was listening to Long Flight the other day, and I was thinking about like, if I hooked a kick pedal to a snare drum, I could play kick and snare with my feet, and then I could do all the auxiliary percussion like with my hands up top and could play the whole beat." And I was like, "Whoa, dude, that sounds awesome." And he was just like, "Yeah." And then he just walked away. And I was just like, "I don't even know that guy, but that sounds really cool." And then it was like 4 years later, Mike would like, we would find out, because we were trying to find a drummer at the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, and Mike's name kept coming up. We're like, "Oh, you should talk to Mike. You should talk to this guy, Mike." And so we're like, "I don't really know him." Like, I talked to him once. He said that he could play Long Flight with both of his feet and his hands. Like, but anyways, Mike came in and was just, you know, from the first time Mike played with us, he was a consummate professional and just like knew everything. It was just like amazing. But it was really funny to me that he just came up to me one night and was like, "Hey dude, love that song. I can play it all. Like, awesome." And they just walked away.
That's amazing. So that album surely brought you all together. That's
yeah, in a funny way.
There you go. I'm DJ Morgan from KEXP, talking to Future Islands. The new album is As Long As You Are, just came out last month on 4AD. Let's get into another song. This next song is called Born in a War. It's Future Islands, live on KEXP at Home.
It's all so temporary. Life's work don't play that way. Life's more than cash and carry. All you're gone, you're gray. Is it too much to carry? Is it too much to ask you why? I have a sinking feeling, I know why. I have a sinking feeling, I know. said. Is it too much to carry? Is it too much to run and hide? What's too much to bury? Is it too much to ask you why I have a sinking feeling? I know why. I have a sinking feeling, I know. Swore you an impossible dream you've been damned by. You swear when a strong man cries, when a strong man dies. You're scared when a strong man cries, when a strong man dies. But a strong man cries. A strong man cries. Just look into a strong man's eye. Oh, look into a strong man's eye. Oh, look into a strong man's eye. Oh, look into a strong man raised up in the town that city blue. Shotgun shells under every roof. Bloody hell.
Future Islands live on KEXP at home. Sam, what's that song about? Born in a War.
Largely that song's about gun violence in America. It's the idea of kind of like places that me and Garrett and William grew up in, where, you know, it's small communities where everybody goes hunting on Saturdays and they go to church on Sundays. You kind of change your camouflage into your Sunday's best, and that just becomes a way of life. But I think more so, you know, those ideas of war are not just about guns and violence, but it's about a cultural war. It's about cultural ideologies that kind of rule and persist in our lives, you know, and those ideas are not things that just we were born into and children are born in today. Those fights in American society that divide our society and prevent people from progressing forward as a unified whole. But it's the same America that our parents were born into. It's the same America that our grandparents were born into. These systems of oppression through white supremacy and male patriarchy. It's a cultural war.
History repeats itself. The new unfortunately, the new record is As Long As You Are. Those live performance videos look great, by the way. Thanks for filming that for us.
I feel bad you can't see my face. I swear I'm singing for real.
You're lip syncing, right?
Like, oh man, Steve did a great job with these vocals on these performances. I swear it's my voice. Yeah.
I believe you.
It's the same studio that we did the album in.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was going to ask where was that? So that was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Right Way Studios. Yeah, that's
Cool.
the live room there.
Obviously, Sam, you were in the States at the time when you were filming that. Did you do that around the same time as you all did the big live stream when the album came out?
Yeah, we did that. We did the radio sessions a week after the live stream. So that following week, it was a lot of fun to get to do the live stream and everything, to play with the guys again. Like, we hadn't played music for maybe 9 or 10 months together.
Oh,
I think since December. We did a show in December of 2019, and that was the last time we had. I mean, we'd been working on the record and stuff, but we were already done tracking. So yeah, it was fun just to like get together and act like things were normal for a second.
Yeah, I bet.
And play a show to no one, which wasn't really normal, but still fun.
There should have been like comments in front of you, so you're like, oh, I see all of the audience members.
Yeah.
Mike and Garrett, how was the live stream show for you guys? Did you have fun?
Oh yeah. I thought it was amazing. Yeah, it was surprisingly not that weird for me not playing in front of a live audience. Like I was just so psyched to be like playing with people that sort of trumped nobody being there. And there were like some people there, like Jerry and
the videographers.
Jerry was there.
Jerry, the COVID or like COVID.
Oh yeah,
requirement people.
Yeah, Tosha and Jerry were solid.
And Jerry.
They were our COVID officers. So we had these people every day who checked everyone's temperature when they got there, filled out a waiver so that we could all be in the same space together and everything. But they were the only people that were like when the show was happening, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is dope." So that was kind of
balloons.
I was kind of playing for them a few
No
times.
balloons.
No balloons.
Like they're the only ones not holding cameras. They're like actually getting to watch.
Yeah. Garrett, how was it for you?
It was fun. It was also, kind of strange and surreal, like kind of being on a weird Mars lander landing and then popping out and playing a show on a mirrored floor with a lot of cameras. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Was this the first time that you all played the songs from the album all together? But I mean, since recording, obviously.
No, we tried all the songs. All the songs had been played live except for City's Face, which we still haven't played live. Were played. So at the end of 2018, we were already playing. We were playing Glotta, I Knew You, Plastic Beach, and we played For Sure a couple times. And then at the end of 2019, we did a short tour and played the rest of the songs live before we're finishing recording, just to make sure that we weren't missing anything, and it did help. Like
research.
Yeah, exactly. It helped bring songs like, I think Waking in particular got a boost from that tour. Cause it was kind of, Waking wasn't going to be included on the record. And then we played it live and people loved it. And then we're kind of like, what is it missing in the studio version? And so we tweaked it a little bit. Steve tweaked it. I think William and Mike might even did you guys redo the bass and drums on that song?
We did.
To give it more punch?
Redid bass and drums. Because
I just remember not really digging the song, and then
tour.
I got a new version of it, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is it. Well, they just fell into the black hole. Okay, there you go.
I doubled the bass with a programmed bass. And I think that was like, for me, that saved,
locked in the groove.
It gave the song it gave more of a bounce to it. Steve was really pushing for that song to be like a driving song, like a rock punk kind of feel, and I wanted it to have this bounce to it. So we kept the live bass, but then we replaced it with a program bass. But Simon, who's the head of 4AD, he saw us play that song on that tour, and I remember that was one of his favorites. And then we turned in we submitted the track list for the album, and he was like, where's the song? You should really consider putting this on the album. So he really kind of encouraged us, and it was his push that convinced us to put it on the record.
Nice. So we have one more song from you guys, Moonlight. Speaking of videos, this one has a really gorgeous video. Do you want to talk about what this song is about and kind of the art direction for the video, the idea behind it?
We're all smiling. The funny thing about this video, no, it's not funny. It's amazing. Was with the video, the director we were going to work with was a guy that I did a song with this Canadian group called Bad Bad Not Good, called I Don't Know, and Will Meyer, who was the director for the Moonlight video. He directed this video that was amazing for this song a couple years ago. So I kind of like threw his name out there when we were talking about possible directors. Check out this song, maybe he can bring something. But then, then we found out that this guy was going to be in the video, Matthew Gubler. Is that his name, Mike?
Great Gubler.
Matthew
you guys
Gray
are just like, I kind of lost it a little bit. Where they were
I didn't really know who he was.
Matthew Gubler's going to be in it.
I didn't really know who he was, and Mike's really into television serials, like the detective
procedurals.
Yeah, procedurals. Yeah. I'm sorry, procedurals. So Mike knew all about this. I talked to my mom about it. Like, do you know this guy? And she's like, oh my goodness, he's going to be in your video. And anyway, so the day this thing dropped, it just exploded. And I really, if anyone's interested, it's really worth going and reading the YouTube comments, because there's just so much love for this guy, and he seems like a lovely guy, and he just gets a lot of love. And I know there was people that are just like, this band must feel terrible that nobody is here for them, and they're only here for the Goobler. And I'm reading these comments with like the biggest smile on my face ever. Just like, I am crying in my physics class right now, and I'm supposed to be listening to the teacher, but I can't stop watching this video on mute. And I'm just like, these like comments are giving me life. I love this.
That's amazing.
But anyway, so the video turned out really, it was awesome. The kind of response it got. But yeah, I mean, the song is about kind of being what's like, I say it simply, like, it's love in a depressive state. Like, what is it like to be a person that deals with depression and be in love? And also to love someone who deals with depression. And I think ultimately the song is about coming to that place of being that person who goes in and out of those waves, and is still loved for who you are. And understanding how you also have to, you accept that love and then you give it back, how to find that. I think with me and my partner, we both, we go up and down, and like, if you're lucky, when that person is down, you're up and you can help carry them. But sometimes you both find yourselves at the bottom, and you kind of have to navigate these things together. But yeah, it's about love and acceptance, but also that self-love, but those ideas, the song says, I couldn't see.
Something changed with the internet.
We just laid in bed all day. I couldn't see. I had a cloud in my arms. But if I asked you, would you say it's only rain, nothing more? Which is to say that, these feelings of anxiety and depression, they sometimes can take us over, but they will ultimately pass. And to be able to find someone who understands that it's not something that it's just you, it's something that will pass is a really freeing thing.
Yeah. This is Moonlight from Future Islands, live on KEXP at Home.
Here's our chance to make it. Make this into something more. Here's my heart, don't break it. It's all that I ask, nothing more. Breaking to your heart, cold from wild and far away. Can any fool learn love? It's all that I ask, nothing more. Nothing more. So we just lay in bed all day. I couldn't see, I had a cloud in my arms. But if I asked you, would you say it's only rain, nothing more. Nothing more. Nothing more. Nothing more.
Beautiful. Future Islands live on KEXP at home. That was Moonlight from the new album, As Long As You Are. And you guys, thank you so much for spending all of this time with us today. You've been so generous with your time. It was so fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Morgan.
The next time you are back in Seattle, I will be at your show, front and center. We're going to have a dance party. It will be very fun.
There's going to be Camel cigarettes. There's going to be PBR. There's going to be iPhones.
Exactly. All of that's going to be there. In the meantime, stay safe. Can't wait to hear more new music from you when you put it out. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
And thanks to all of you for watching and tuning in. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more amazing live performances coming up. You could find the calendar at our website, kexp.org, and lots of other fun stuff there. And we'll see you next time. It's KEXP Seattle.
Discover new music at listener-powered kexp.org.